Everyone, it's Julia. This week I am making some art journals out of Kraft-Tex. This product is a fabric paper. It's very stiff, a lot of structure to it. And I cut my pieces, I believe they were cut at 11 inches by 7 inches for my journal. And then I had some smaller pieces that I'm going to be cutting down for pockets. This came on a roll. Mine is white. You can get it in a lot of different colors. And my roll measured 19 inches by 1.5 yards. I have several different things that I'm going to be using. I'm using my large jelly plate and my smaller jelly plate as well. The stencils, have my Arteza fabric paints. I also added some just regular acrylic paints too. I used up some tubes that I had on hand and just wanted to use them up before they dried out. Added a couple different colors on and just in a thin layer, and I used my brayer there to roll that paint on that plate. And now I'm just lifting that color up. I am going to be coloring this or painting on both sides of this Kraft-Tex for my journal covers. I'm just adding some pink now right through a stencil. And then pulling that stencil up and then laying my pieces down, just adding that additional layer on top. I wanted the little pockets to be in the same colors. And I'm using this mark maker. Had it forever. I think it's from a Making Memories brand. But you can even use a plastic comb for this. So there's many different things that you can even find in your kitchen. Even a spatula would work, or a basting brush, or whatever you have will make interesting marks on this jelly plate. And this is just regular copy paper. I wanted to add some painty papers to this art journal, and so I'm just lifting paint, and I also lifted some paint on tags, just different things that I'm going to be putting in these journals. I was able to get 6 journals off of this one roll of the Kraft-Tex. I'm thinking with my fingers there. And here's my little 3-inch by 5-inch jelly plate, and I'm adding a texture on top of that with a stencil, and just using that as a stamp just to get some different colors on there. I decided I didn't really like how dark some of that brown got, and so I'm going to be lifting some of that off in here in a little bit, and I'll show you how I do that. I liked how this one turned out. It gave it a little bit of a grunge look. And here I go with trying to lift some of that off. I have a baby wipe and a stencil, and I am just rubbing that baby wipe right through that stencil. It's not only lifting some of that paint off, but giving a more of a design or a texture on that paint as well. Now I wanted to add color to the back side of these as well as the front side, because you're going to see that in the journal. And here I am with just my little plate. These are a lot of fun to play with too. And I've just added a bunch of color blocks on the back side. Onto another one here. I used this lemony yellow and this green, adding a bunch of different marks in there. As soon as I lifted this one, I knew exactly what I wanted what theme I kind of wanted to go with on it. And this is the one that I completely completed in this video. I really thought those colors were wonderful. And now I'm using those same colors again for the pockets. So this is going to actually give me 2 complete different yellow journals. And this is the one I decided to go with. I love the little design that mark maker made. I have this, it's a really old stamp, but I knew I wanted to use it because it just reminded me of of citrus. And it's just a fruit slices, looks like maybe orange slices or a lime slice. And I'm just randomly just stamping some fruit slices on that. And I am using my waterproof ink by Archival. Not that this is probably ever going to be washed, but I just wanted to use that. And this black that I'm using is Archival ink, which is waterproof. And I love this, another stamp that I've had forever, but it's Think Happy, Be Happy. And it just seemed like such a happy color that I thought that would make very appropriate. And just making a little sign or just some words here. Wanted to add that to the front. Wanted to add some color to that. So I'm just taking a sponge and going around the edge with some yellow. Now onto the pockets. I'm going to create 2 pockets with each of these, and it's 5.5 by 5 inches, and so it's gonna, and I cut that in half. Just edging again, putting some ink on the edge of that. I found it doesn't work to pin at all to this, so I am using my Wonder Clips to hold those pockets into place, and I'm going to be stitching all the way around this, and also stitching those words into place. I did use some lime green stitching or thread on there. Just thought that added a really nice look. And rounding my corners with my corner rounder on that pocket. And I'm just adding some of those painted tags to that pocket. I just love how that turned out. Wanting to add my binding now, and I'm just going to use an elastic binder. I put some dots or with my pencil 1/4 of an inch away from the center. I just folded that so I knew what the center was, and poking my holes now with my Crop-A-Dile, getting those holes punched. And I'm going to be putting eyelets in here. Now I know you can put your eyelets in with your Crop-A-Dile, but honestly I just have not worked with it enough to figure it out, and I'm just a diehard. I'm just using my thing that I know how to use, and which is this trusty little tool here. Just getting those eyelets in. I'm going to be using elastic cord for my binding. This is a natural color. Just measuring it out there. You need about a little over twice as much as your length of your book. I start from the inside to do my, flipping it around, starting from the inside, starting at the top, going in and back through, and then all the way back down to the bottom, doing the same thing. And then bringing that up and tying it in the center. This gives a really neat look on the back side or the right side of this journal. And then the inside has the cords. Onto my painty papers here. I really enjoy adding these to some of my art journals. It's easy to start a page if there's already paint added onto that. You can put more paint on, you can cover it up with gesso if you don't want the paint, add photos to them, add little note cards with notes. Just an easy way to start your journaling. Dividing these into 2 different groups here, because there's 2 different elastic cords or 2 different signatures. Making marks to where I need to cut these. And the easiest way that I find to cut, I just love using just a metal ruler and a snap-off blade. This is just an X-Acto knife with a snap-off blade. Make sure your blade is sharp. And then onto my second signature there, again marking it with a pencil, and then just using my ruler and my X-Acto knife and just getting those all cut. And you just cut layer by layer until it's all the way through. I didn't even bind this with any thread. I just slipped it through. I thought it was just an easy way to take those pages out to work on them if you wanted to, and to add new pages when this all filled up. I hope you enjoyed this. Here's some pictures at the end. Have a creative week, everybody. Bye for now.